Stay tuned for the planet Earth's most relevant newscast. Broadcasting from Sector 17G of the Milky Way Galaxy, we present you a program that is a strange combination of newsworthy and non-newsworthy. Funny at times and extremely non-funny at others. Ladies and gentlemen, Earthlings and Lunars, we present to you Valemount Live.
Welcome to episode 66 of Valemount Live.
I'm Jody Newham.
And I'm Anne-Marie Scott.
Tonight is our election special.
News stations allegedly aim for unbiased reporting on parties and candidates.
We just haven't got the time.
So, if it's okay with you,
we're just going to tell you how to vote.
But first, here are the stories for this week.
Community initiatives.
A communist plot by the Columbia Basin.
Or a cash cow for greedy nonprofits.
Also, Elizabeth May stopped in Valemount last week.
It was so sweet. She even has her own little political party.
Good for you, girl. That's so nice.
As far as color scheme, she totally nailed the right party.
Why women even join the NDP, I'll never know. I mean, those colors are nasty.
Zach's got another parlor room trick on science-y stuff.
We've got a musical performance from last summer.
We're going to get you ready for the music festival season.
Elizabeth May stopped in Valemount on a whistle-stop pitching her Green Party platform.
We felt so sorry that she didn't get into the federal debate, we spent some time with her to make her feel better.
And boy, can she talk.
I mean, it's basically nonsense, but it's great that a woman's doing all that stuff.
Boy, we've come a long way.
Especially in fashion.
Here is our report on the Green Party leader's trip to Valemount.
Why are you here?
To meet a politician.
Oh, we're doing projects on the parties and our stuff.
On the federal campaign.
I represent the Green Party in our class. Don't look at me.
Well, I'm just really excited to meet Elizabeth May and cheer her on.
I'm here to support the Green Party and Elizabeth May and trains. Yes.
I was actually coming along to get an idea of what other Green supporters there are in the valley.
Time to give up.
People are like, I'm gonna go home and...
It's my great honor to be the first federal party political leader to visit Valemount in the course of an election campaign.
Well, I think our policy and our platform is the best for resource-based communities and remote communities because we're looking at what's sustainable. So we're very big on making sure we get value added out of, for instance, forest products. Very much against exporting product before it's had additional jobs extracted from anything we're exporting. Now that really is the tax system. We need to use our tax system so when we put more of a price on energy and reduce the price on labor, we can create more of an incentive to use more labor in products. And the fiscal system does make a really big difference because it affects an industry's bottom line. If we make it more affordable to have more people and make it a real benefit for corporations to reduce waste of energy, but to expand their workforce. There's signals you can do to do that. So we've got that in our platform. It's a problem that our economy is being skewed to the oil sands. It's resulting in a higher dollar. Higher dollar hurts a lot of our exports and it hurts tourism. So we'd like to see, by putting in place a carbon price and slowing development in the oil sands, we allow the production of oil out of the tar sands to catch up with reducing the amount of water per barrel, reducing the amount of energy per barrel. But also at a macro level, what it does for the Canadian economy is increase the competitiveness for manufacturing, for pulp and paper, for a lot of other products in Canada that have been disadvantaged by the high dollar. And the high dollar is driven by oil exports. So it's a whole combination of factors, but it starts with the premise. And I really don't see any of the party talking about this. No. We need to think like a country. Think about every region of the country and develop fiscal signals, carbon prices, investment dollars that ensure that Canadians can find jobs where they live. Yeah. It's pretty basic. Yeah.
Criticizing the corporate media, has that been a really great way of getting lots of national press?
No, and clearly not. And in my
so the Greens need some work on strategy.
I don't think so. My last book was called Losing Confidence, Power, Politics, and the Crisis in Canadian Democracy. And one of the chapters was about the threat to democracy and corporate concentration of ownership. Our role is not to play it safe. Our role is to tell the truth and hope we can rescue democracy from corporate interests. And if no one's telling the truth because of strategy, that there's no way to arrest the threats to democracy. One of the reasons they didn't want me back was that I raised difficult questions, such as, I put it to Stephen Harper that the OECD thinks Canada has Dutch disease. Dutch disease is not something anyone ever mentions in a political debate because it's not something every Canadian talks about, but we should. What happened to the Netherlands when they discovered offshore oil, their whole economy, and this was in the 70s, was skewed by the higher price of the guilder, the Dutch dollar. The guilder went up, so all the other sectors of the Dutch economy suffered. No one in Canada is talking about the fact, and the Liberal Party, the NDP, the Conservatives certainly, all make the assumption that the oil sands is somehow good for the economy, and then they talk about, well, what do we do if it's bad for the environment? The fact of the matter is that the unregulated, hell-bent for leather approach to growth in the oil sands has overall hurt our economy.
Whoa now!
What did she say?
Just a word from our sponsors. We categorically do not support that crazy talk.
Maybe we're not ready.
Well, with that kind of
We
talk...
lost, even before the Wall Street crash in September 08, we lost 350,000 jobs in manufacturing and pulp and paper. So they combined. So 250,000 in manufacturing, 100,000 jobs in pulp and paper had been lost where the proximate cause was the high Canadian dollar, which is due to two things. Foreign direct investment, the buying up of Canadian companies by foreign companies, which went off the charts as soon as Stephen Harper started taxing income trusts. And the other factor in driving our dollar up was the export of bitumen crude. So speaking of value added, no one talks about the fact that we're exporting bitumen and crude. We're not even getting the jobs in refining.
Okay now,
within
stop the
Canada.
broadcast!
Don't air this anymore!
Off the air!
Oh, what are you doing running this?
We're gonna get our license revoked now.
Tar sands bad for the economy?
Unhindered growth of the tar sands is the only thing that can save this sad sack of a nation.
I feel sick.
Elizabeth, no wonder she doesn't get invited back anywhere.
And on with the local news.
On Tuesday, concerned citizens gathered to vet applications to the Community Initiatives Fund of the Columbia Basin Trust.
There is a lot of money made available each year to local nonprofits.
This year there were 17 applications for over $300,000 in funding.
Here is our coverage of that.
Stand by for 5 condensed minutes of that 2-hour slog fest.
We have 17 proposals. Let's start. Group number 1.
Most recently, we were approached by Columbia Basin Trust that there are black holes in our community, particularly in the retail sector, and they were looking for ways to fill some of those black holes. And a number of people with similar interests decided, hey, this is really an opportunity for a community hub neighborhood house.
In order to do this, we believe that it needs to have staff, that it can't just depend on volunteers. There would need to be a coordinator probably 4 days a week and an assistant coordinator for 3 days a week, and then somebody to do janitorial work.
So since the completion of the new fire hall, we've had many people come to us and ask us if we're going to do anything with that tower, that thing sticking up in the air of our building. It does look kind of bare up there, and yeah, I thought that the clock was a great idea. It would be approximately 4 feet in diameter. It would have hands. It's not a flashing, digital, annoying clock. It'll have just regular numbers. Everybody, kids can read it. Hopefully, they're not all used to digital.
Part of this grant application is for funding to buy advertising and signs so that tourists know where we are there. The other portion of the fund will go towards shelving for the store.
With this particular mannequin, we can practice even on our own because you can feel the difference in the resistance.
The Chamber of Commerce wishes to purchase an overhead projector and a screen to assist us with our various programs that we have throughout the year.
Powerboarding or sled-assisted skiing has been growing rapidly over the last few years. Many of our users to our snowmobile areas are coming with skis and snowboards strapped to their sleds and utilizing our areas. for powerboarding or sled-assisted skiing. We're trying to work on partnerships with Carrier Lumber. Either way we look at it, we're looking at a substantial cost for the bridge. We're asking the residents of Valemount and the Community Initiatives Committee for $70,000 to help purchase the bridge to create access to this future recreation area.
Over the last 3-4 years, we've been having a lot of trouble with leakage on the whole all 3 sheets of ice surfaces, and now we're getting into the upstairs and our lounge area and everything. So we're looking at funding to cover the replacement of the tin.
Community band shell. We are applying for $80,000 this year, which will allow us to build the shell and the roof.
Our application is to map 15 heritage sites because the museum is not just about antiques but also about local stories, especially those not visible. The outcome of the project is to present historic sites in a booklet with GPS coordinates on a map and schematic diagrams of sites indicating features such as photographs of the sites and stories about the sites.
The steam table needs to be updated. It's not really acceptable anymore. Some things to do with our heating system, and we have tables and chairs that often we loan out or rent out and different groups use, and the chairs are really getting to be bad.
And we do need our own mats. New mats and shipping are going to be about $3,900.
So the Valemount Public Library Association is applying for funding of $6,000 to have preliminary design plans for a library expansion prepared by an engineering firm.
Valemount Senior Citizens Housing Society are asking the Columbia Basin Trust for a grant for new windows, the replacement of windows in our current lodge. The windows are going to cost in the neighborhood of $34,000 to replace all of them.
Lights and stonework needs to be completed, and that's around $13,000, $30,500. Then we have already the holes and everything, but we're going to have the flag poles and flags. They will be on the south side of the entry sign, so towards the A&W or Petrochem building.
Well, I've been building illegal trails here since I was 14. And apparently you can't do that anymore, but we argued could have in your days, but we're not allowed to anymore. So the proposal is just to get all the mapping and all the paperwork done so that we can continue building trails, create a recreational facility summertime and wintertime. There's lots of skiing for like the young kids that can't go to the big mountains there. It's an awesome tobogganing hill and whatnot in the summertime. They're applying for the money to basically throw in an extra couple of viewing points, culverts to make that road legit so that we can keep it as a good log for everybody to use, good road for everybody to use.
Zero the lowest. If you want to verify this,
The village wants money for signs?
Yeah. They've got the main structure in place on 5th Avenue, but the gate doesn't close properly.
I'm amazed the dinosaurs haven't gotten out.
Overall, a fairly interesting meeting.
Great new projects from youthful elements.
Sled-assisted skiing, bike parts, enhanced trails, and a band shell.
There's hope for us yet.
Damn straight, as long as the Greens don't sabotage us first.
VCTV is required to sell advertising to political parties.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Friends, our healthcare system is in crisis. Our healthcare system is in crisis. Our healthcare system is in crisis. The Liberals are the only party with a viable plan for healthcare. The Conservatives are the only party with a viable plan for healthcare. Stephen Arpar says it is the fault of Putin. The Conservatives, they've been copying our policies for a decade. In reality, it is not Putin. Canadian families need a government they can trust. Mr. Arbar, it is your gouvernement that give us not enough resource to sustain the culture of La Belle Province. We're in a funny place in this election, Canada. So rise up. Vote for the Liberals now. Rise up. We want to make changes so that you, the working people, can get ahead. Feel the power of Liberals. Rise, my friends in Canada.
Let's try moving your head this time.
Rise up and feel your power joined with our power. We've been talking to the Canadians at their kitchen tables. Rise up now. And Canadians tell us they want a government they can trust. Long live a free Quebec.
Take 38.
His head can move, right?
Welcome back, viewers.
Here's columnist Zachary Schneider with a common sense solution for getting the cork out of the bottle.
More news you can use from VCTV.
Thanks, Zach. I hope you shared that bottle with your mom and dad.
It's not often you find kids under 12 drinking a Malbec.
Next, we've got really big news with Charles Jones.
I'm Charles Jones, and welcome to really big news from everywhere. This week, an end to war, pounding swords into wicket bales. Johnny Doe in Sochi covering the 2014 Winter Olympics. But first, the royal wedding in England between Prince William and what's-her-name is only days away. Security is tight and preemptive arrests are being made so that certain country bumpkins won't crash the royal wedding. Security officials in Ontario, Canada, the bride's birthplace, are planning on arresting everyone in Ontario just to be on the safe side. Now, to our eyewitness on the ground, Johnny Doe in Sochi. Johnny? The gypsies sold me to witches in Romania. They are recruiting canvassers to help fight the WST, the witch sales tax. The government here has decided to start taxing spells and potions. So the witches formed a group called Witches in Cool Costumes Association. There was such a large membership that they split into a bunch of different groups. Now there are even political parties that are going to fight the hated WST in Parliament, such as the New Demonic Party, the Possessed Conservatives, the Green Witch Party, and the most boring of all, materializing out of nowhere, Archangel Michael and his librarians. No matter what the differences are, the witches are all united in one thing. If they have to pay taxes, they're going to write the checks with invisible ink. I'm Johnny Doe for VCTV in Romania. Thanks, Johnny. Well, the bean counters have tallied up the costs of the ICC World Cup of Cricket and have found that many countries have put so much on their credit cards that they may not be able to afford future wars. Buses, water bottles, dry cleaning, and the logistics of getting these things to the athletes have nearly bankrupted countries such as Pakistan. If we could arm our athletes, maybe we could have our cake and eat it too. So says a man in a black turban holding an AK-47 selling soccer tickets on the street corner. Well, that's all the really big news for now, but stay tuned for Pan-Galactic Sports with D.A.Z. Beeblebrox. Pan-Galactic Sports. In the Indian Premier League, Hyderabad beat Delhi by 16 runs. Kochi beat Chennai by 7 wickets, and Kolkata beat Jaipur by 8 wickets. Today, Mohali is playing Jaipur. In England, the LV County Championships are underway. In Division 1, Durham leads the pack. Division 2, Northamptonshire and Derbyshire look to head to Division 1. I'm D.A.Z. Beeblebrox.
What an characterization of witches.
How do you know?
I know lots of witches.
Last but not least, here is, Raghu Lokanath now?
Who now?
Why not play some music?
Street lamp through the trees, just a shade more yellow, and the bright end of my smoke. The black I have to breathe to make the gray in me seem like light. What a joke, shades for the soul, a rich veil covers it all. Darling, can't you see the man that I'm becoming? We stumbled through the snow on the far side of the tracks. That night we dreamed about the streets that led us up high above the city, where we blew the candle out. Shades for the soul, a rich veil covers it all. Darling, can't you see the man that I'm becoming? The cops showed up at the door with a message from neighbors. Stay away from our kids. If we find out what you did, you're gonna pay us. Shades from soul, a rich veil covers it all. Darling, can't you see the man that I'm becoming? Words don't matter, forget it. Words don't matter, so save me. I'm a fence running through the wilderness. What monster made me? Shades from soul, a rich veil covers it all. Darling, can't you see the man that I'm becoming? Forgive me for seeking you, if you'd rather be left alone. understand now why when they write the word they leave out the old shades from the soul. A rich veil covers it all. Darling, can't you see the man that I'm becoming? Shades for the soul. A rich veil covers it all. Darling, can't you see the man that I'm becoming?
That was dark.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Here are some upcoming events.
Saturday, April 23rd is the Spring Tea from 2 until 4 p.m.
Get your tea on at the Legion Hall, ladies.
And on April 30th, there's a chili cook-off at the Legion Hall.
Also, check out the Gift of Dyslexia movie series Tuesdays at 7 p.m. at the Lions Hall.
Oh yeah, we have to tell you how to vote.
Use a pencil and check the box.
Good night.
Good night.
Like salty lover, licking her wound, sweating with another. She cries, I don't care about anyone, and I don't love you. Stay up, face you can't break her heart, set her free. She's closed her eyes and there's nothing to see. The sign on the street reads love, but you won't see it. We're praying for love above, but you won't feel it. We're praying to let down your love, let down your love. And then herself will be storing it all. The God, where has the beauty gone? She says I just don't believe in it anymore. Trash can romance taking up my time 'cause it's easier to find. Trash can romance taking up my time 'cause it's easier to find. Trash can romance taking up my time 'cause it's easier to find. Wild heart, make me holy. Wild heart, make me find. Wild heart, you know you can't control me. Wild hearts, I'm gonna make you mine. Wild heart, make me holy. Wild heart, make me find. Wild heart, you know you can't control me. Wild heart, I'm gonna make you mine. And I don't care about anyone, and I don't love you. It's easier to find. Trash can romance taking up my time. Perfect.